Hello guys, it's Alec here. Want to touch on a very cool subject, something that that's come and it's very close to my heart nowadays. It's something called working capital. Okay, I didn't used to understand this when I started my businesses. Capital to me was something like a loan, I always thought, yeah, well, you work with money, so you lend money, and then you go for it in your business. And I must be honest with you, it's only through experience that I've learned that that's not the best way to look at working capital. Only once you feel the burn of stuff like that and realize that a loan is nothing more than just a number on your balance sheet. Ultimately, once you've spent that money, it's not worth anything to you but just, dead weight in your balance sheet. Then you realize that, okay, it's not the same thing as working capital. Okay, so working capital, I want to, just explain to you guys in simple terms. Working capital is two words, okay, but let's start with capital. So yes, it is some kind of money that ultimately is in your business, some kind of a resource in your business. And working means day-to-day, something that you work with on a day-to-day basis in your business, okay. And it is resourcing, but obviously we're going to have to look at it now from the numbers perspective, So I'm going to delve into that, and I think it's the best way for me to show you guys how it works is actually with our MyBI app. And this is an automation tool that helps you that helps actually generate management accounts and more specifically business intelligence on a daily basis, but it's fully automated with some AI technologies. And this app specifically taps into any Pastel partner, Pastel Express or Sage 50 cloud database. Okay, so let's start off, and the best kind of like place where I can start off with is going to the dashboard. Okay, so we've spent a lot of time on this dashboard to try and demonstrate or bring numbers forward which help you as manager and MD, and also as the management team, to have a one pager of the whole business and what you can focus on at this stage. Okay, so working capital, you'll see actually right slap dash in the center of it's the working capital bubble. Okay, so this is the bubble of working capital, and around it actually touches on a few bubbles which has numbers in them. Okay, so let's start off over here and say a lot of time we think capital is cash. Okay, cash is, again, it's just the end result of everything. It's kind of like just a amount of money that's left, right? So you get money into your bank and money goes out, but cash in bank doesn't work for you. It is only something that you use to pay off creditors so that they can do the work for you. All right, so cash itself doesn't work. It is your resources, and over here it's your creditors or your suppliers. They work for you. So you contract them to do certain services or provide you with goods that you buy, and use that cash to settle what you've purchased from them. Then you sell it and it becomes a debtor. That's your customer base. That's another working capital environment. Working capital means your day-to-day basis, you're selling to your customers, and that's day-to-day working capital. Then there's another one that's very special here called inventory. Inventory is very special because it's one of those, it's the only one, okay, if you're a business that adds margin to your inventory, which is the norm. You buy something at 50 Rand and you sell it at something more than 50 Rand and make a small profit on it. Now, inventory is the only one that is not exactly equal to what you're going to get. It only is equal to what you've paid for it. So it's the cost price that you see here. But you're actually going to sell it in margin. So it's a special one because of the fact that it actually can generate more than what's there. Debtors is what debtors is. It was what you're going to get in from your customers, as soon as they pay you. And the creditors is what you're going to pay them. Okay, so it is a stagnant number. Cash also, the only way the cash can grow is with a little bit of interest. Nothing too exciting there, but inventory is special. Okay, the other bubbles that also is something on working capital that you need to consider is VAT. VAT, if you're registered for VAT, is very important because ultimately your debtors is a value including VAT, but you still need to pay SARS the amount of VAT that you've added to each invoice and you've actually recovered on behalf of SARS. But you can go and deduct all the inputs in your creditors that are registered for VAT. So those guys that are registered and they've provided you with a official legal tax invoice, you can go and claim that tax invoice as an input VAT against your output. All right, so that's your working capital, but this is already history. So let me explain to you. History means it's already happened in your business. The cash that you have in your bank is because of historical events that it's now in your bank. Your creditors that you have to pay, that is already reflected as a credit, is already goods and services that you've already received. Same with debtors and same with inventory. You've already purchased that inventory, it's in your warehouse. And debtors, you've already gone and you've invoiced the customer, now it's a debtor. There's one other bubble here called doubtful debt. Don't worry about the value for this purpose. This is just a demo database. But ultimately, doubtful debt is also important because you want to reflect internally to yourself, what do you think is not going to be paid to you? What debtors are potentially doubtful? And so that you deduct it from your working capital expectation as to what you actually have to your disposal to spend and reinvest in your business. Then what happens before this working capital bubble? So this is history actually, and this is just what's happened as a result of history. What is today's business? Today's business is what we call orders. Orders is creditors. What do you do with creditors? You place a purchase orders on your creditors to officially instruct them to do something for you. So they are your resource, and you go out and you say, please provide me with the following goods or services at the following values, and you issue them with an official purchase order. Then a sales order, that's orders that your customers have placed on you, official orders that you need to get out the door, and once it's out the door, you can actually invoice it. Okay, so that's today's business. That's what really is important for today. And then potentially tomorrow's business, that's your quotations. Tomorrow, if my customer says yes, tomorrow it's going to become a sales order, and that again can become something that I invoice and then becomes a debtor, and so the working capital cycle, the whole working capital environment becomes healthy because you want to feed money into that bank of yours through debtors. But it starts off with quotations. Quotations goes even to sales orders. Ultimately, if you have a sale, you can now order something from creditors to service that sale if you can't do it internally. And then you can now, once you've delivered to the customer pays you that from that debtor side, that goes into bank, and bank ultimately is paid off. It's to pay off your creditors. And inventory, obviously, if you did buy goods, it went into your warehouse, you sold it to your customer, it went out of your warehouse, and that lands off in your income statement. Okay, so all of these are actually interactive. So you can click through to any of these numbers. So this is just high level numbers. But if you, for instance, go and you say, well, show me my creditors, you can now go and see that 111 actually is made up out of a ton of creditors here, and they all have a value that's linked to it. Negative is credits and positives are debits. So you've actually prepaid some of your creditors in this demo database. Then here I can go to debtors. I can see which debtors are actually there available for me. 52025 broken up into detail. Oops, sorry. And then you can also go into your inventory. So here I can see how my inventory is broken up by value or even by quantity. I've got 3 of these units in stock. I've got 1 of this unit in stock. So all of that, is very simple to kind of click through. Then even a cash flow. This is quite cool. This is automated cash flow by transaction. It's not only by balances. So I can actually look at that 29,000, and if I click on it, you'll actually see I double clicked on it. It takes me through to transaction level of a cash flow. It's automated, by the way. There's 1,309 transactions, and there you can see everything that's gone through your cash book. Actually, on a detailed level, it's nicely built into a table, meaning I can quickly filter. I can say, show me my latest transactions, newest to oldest. And there it goes. I can say, show to me what went to account number, 2000. And there comes up all the 2000. So it's a very nice interactive environment. Okay, I'm going to go back here and go back to my dashboard. You can also do the purchase orders. These are my open purchase orders at this stage. Very important because I need to go and get that in. That's the orders I've placed, and that's the only way that I can basically, service the sales orders I've got, which is over here. Here are the orders that customers have placed on me. I now need to get that out the door to make sure that money flows into this business as quick as possible. That's the healthy way of doing business. And then here's all your quotations, a detailed list of quotations. You can go and see how quotations have been issued, etc., etc. And obviously follow up on those customers. or those potential customers rather. Now you even have access here to your customer and your supplier database. You can quickly click here and you see, oh, there's 900 customers here. I can quickly send them all an emailer by pressing that copy and going into my emailer, putting it in BCC. I can do the same with my suppliers, their suppliers, and you can also see the health of your actual database here. I can see how healthy it is, where are there gaps, potentially fill them. I don't have a fax number here for these guys, I don't have an address for these guys, etc., etc. Okay, so it's very easy to manage your very important databases, your customer and supply database, because I mean that's what your business is about, right? Suppliers and customers, they ultimately are big players in your business. Then there's also an interactive slicer here. This slicer helps you just to click through to the period that you actually want. I'm going to click there. I'm going to click September now away. Then you see, okay, this is called a steering wheel. We call it a steering wheel. Start off at quotes. Whatever quotes are accepted goes into the ordering environment, and whatever orders are out the door goes into the income statement. That's the sales for the month and the GP for the month with GP percentage, and the net profit for the month with a net profit percentage. And then everything actually changes based on your selection here. So if I go 1 month back, you'll see things are changing over here. You'll see all these little numbers change. The nice thing is I can even select 1 month and it just shows me the movements for that month. And then I can do something like I can select a 3-month period over here and it just shows me the 3 months. Or I can say, but let me compare it to the prior year's 3 months and see how do I compare. Okay, it's going better. I can see I've got from a revenue perspective quite a lot more revenue, but I've also got a loss year in comparison to last year. So I've definitely spent more than the previous year. So a nice overall picture of what you can actually now find here as well. You're unposted. These are the transactions that have not yet been posted. So remember now what we say is, in past time, you often heard people say, no, but it's not yet batch update. It's not yet updated the batch. So that often happens because you need to make sure you're going to find that under unposted, and it's going to show you what are all open. And the other thing also about this dashboard is you can now see how you click through to different environments. But what's important for you to understand is that you can actually use this as a team as well. You as the MD can obviously steer the whole thing and can look at all numbers from a holistic perspective, but you can also make your sales director. You can look at quotations and sales orders. Your procurement officer or your procurement officer can look at purchase orders. Your production manager, for instance, on the floor can look at sales orders because that needs to get out the door. And here you can look at stuff like that in the background, by the way, is what happens when you're at home with your work, if you have your office, also being at home. Anyway, so these are your creditors clerks and your debtors clerks. They can look at debtors, etc. So it's a nice interactive environment for the whole team. Okay, and and working capital, as I said, real special. I really recommend you guys delve your teeth into it and manage it on a daily basis. You can really untap so much value from it. Okay, and I hope this dashboard actually helps you to untap that value because it's exciting stuff. All right, guys, I hope you've enjoyed it. I know I have, and I hope you have a great day. Have a good one, guys. Cheers.